Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalVestor.com's TRI Crypto Top 100 Review. Crypto Countdown. Crypto tastes great. Crypto. Uh-oh. If you're a crypto bull these days, you better put on your big boy pants. Things get a little bit tense around this store. That poor old daddy guy, eh? You go from oh, that's what happened. I even remember on this show I've said, those whom the gods wish to destroy first make drunk with power. Oh God.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's one of the things we used to say is went from sugar to shit.
Well, there you go. Kaboom. Now, Derek doesn't drop any, Brian's got a terrible foul mouth. So, but when Derek is dropping the swears, we know we're talking serious here. So, on that note, hello, sir. Welcome to the show. And here's Derek, our co-host. Actually, so how are you doing this evening, Derek?
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Wonderful Wednesday.
Wonderful Wednesday. All right, cool. And as I don't think I'm gonna say that again, but it went from sugar to something unsugary very quickly. So welcome back to the show. Kind of a weird intro there, but then is Brian ever gonna get this thing politically correct? I doubt it. But here's Brian. Here's Derek. Ben decided to take the night off, and Nick he decided he was gonna go do some errands here just before we got the show go. Oh, no, there he is. He's back. Hey, Nick's here. Hello, Nick. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm good.
All right. Good. Anyway, welcome back to our fun little crypto show that we do. I think because we don't have ourselves on the camera, we could call this a podcast, can't we? Because technically podcasts they don't have any cameras or anything, do they?
No.
Anyway, welcome back. This is, I think, our 30th, 31st, 32nd, something like that episode. We've been doing this for a while now. And I've had a lot of fun working with these three gentlemen. Ben, I think we said, but I'm not sure. Ben is going to take the night off tonight. So, and for, geez, I guess, but when did we start this up? Just about like last June or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, if we look at the spreadsheet, it says June 9th was the first week.
Speaking of which, yeah, here we are. So way back when. So really cool how you guys have basically gone through an entire cycle peak there. Did you guys enjoy the ride? You see what now? Do you know what 4-year cycle peaks look like?
Yeah, some parts were different or better than others, but.
Yeah, I suppose. I was just joking. I think I don't know whether you heard us, but Derek was like, "Yeah, this went from really, really nice to not so nice." I think
that's the first thing I heard when I put my headphones back on when I got back was from sugar to
boom. Yeah.
Well, I can't say this is like the first cycle that I kind of paid attention to all the way through. Like I've kind of been aware of the whole thing.
Yeah.
My first one was in 2017-18, and I kind of came in on the back end of it, like towards like I don't know, September, October, where everything was just going up. You could put money anywhere and was making you more money. So, but this is the first one you had to sort of whether I've been able to sort of pay attention and follow a lot of the things that have been ingrained in my personality and all that through TRI. Had a good time. In fact, I've been having a good time. Even though now it's a little bit slower, it's still. I think it's needed, right? So it's good that way.
Yeah. If anything, that's what I kind of wanted to ask you guys is basically we've gone through now because we started this just about the time when Alan was all the rage there back last spring. Eh? It seems it was right around that time. And of course, do you guys now appreciate the significance of my birthday?
Oh, yeah.
Market.
For sure.
You probably will never think about the spring ever again the same way, eh?
No, like I said, it was my first spring being with you guys this past one, so I'm definitely going to pay closer attention this spring, knowing what the potential is. So.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? Is that I don't know how much of a rally we're gonna get this year, because I remember in 2000, I remember in 2014 that was China ban, and man, it was just basically straight down right into the summer. Then there was an auction, the first Silk Road auction, and Tim Draper won those. So there was a little bit of a rally into that, and then it was just Craterville into the end of the year. And then 2018, same sort of thing. Market pulled back off of that 20,000 peak. Richard Harkrise, we go into sort of kind of almost like actually, a lot of similarities to the end of that and what I'm seeing happening with the poor DeFi kids these days. A lot of similarities. And ironically enough, the guy that probably caused the whole market to rally up to 20,000 in 17, he sort of came to the rescue, which is ironic because if the crypto kids only knew that the CFTC chairman at the time, Gargarello, I don't know whether you guys remember him or not. I remember in my Twitter feed he was there. Anyway, he was sort of stood in front of U.S. government and said, "Crypto's not so bad. Don't shit on them." But point was that we had a bit of a counter trend rally into the summer. That wasn't so bad. People sort of got used to a floor, and then that following fall, man, the floor fell out of the market, and I'm fearful of basically the same thing happening again here. Boo. Hiss boo, hiss boo. So I hope you guys, and what I wanted to ask was sort of specifically, have you guys noticed a difference between how you feel, because you two are both basically on the other side of the education program. So how do you feel as market participants going through this correction? Is it as dire as previous corrections? I think you guys said you're both got a couple of years under your belt, and I heard from Derek. What do you think, Nick? Do you look at the market differently now that you've been sort of gone through the TRI program and stuff?
Yeah, I wish I had went through TRI a little bit ago before the cycle probably. But no, I mean, May hit me hard. So I got into crypto just like at January last year. So it's been just over a year. And May hit me pretty hard. I did well in the fall, and I sold enough of the stuff of my coins in that November range before we got too much down. So I'm okay. I feel like TRI definitely helped me with, especially the risk management side.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. And yeah, I
can remember Julian saying that the really big thing that Julian really learned from working with me was just trying to manage risk, keep yourself alive, live to fight another day. So definitely, this should be an interesting period because lots and lots of volatility. We saw sort of headlines out of the central bankers. I saw the news headlines where expect some serious volatility, folks, up and down like a you-know-what. So there's that to look forward to. But maybe if we're lucky, we'll catch a break here. Ironically enough, only after the market has taken off, after sort of putting in double bottoms, do you look back and go, oh yeah, I guess I should have been buying through that window there. So I've been trying to pick bottoms here a little bit. A couple attempts that I've tried to do recently haven't gone very well, but point here, I suppose, is you just got to keep stepping up to the plate, and taking setups. So maybe if we're lucky, and I guess what I was kind of thinking, and I think we had sort of agreed to this over the past couple of weeks, is maybe we take the opportunity tonight and just sort of, as fast as we can, pull up as many of these charts and see if we can just draw like sort of areas where if the market does come back down, we should start paying attention for things like divergence and market structure and stuff. So first things first, I suppose we ought to go figure out who's the smart one in our group. So that's the one everybody should be listening to.
I was say, short answer is no one.
Ah, boo.
I think Derek was the closest, but
I think that's good. We got to bring Tone Vase in here or something to tell us what's going to happen. That's great. Long story short, nobody's smart here. Oh, good. Make me laugh. I'm spitting. That made me laugh. So, what do we got here? Market was up about $1,000. Yes, 2.8%. So, 2.8% should have gotten a yellow vote, which is a 1 vote. Oh, I like how this is forming out, actually. This is working. I had sort of envisioned something like this months and months ago, but it's great to see, Nick, that you... And I don't know, Derek, I don't know whether you helped with this, but I think, Nick, you took the initiative in doing all this.
I didn't do anything.
It's a team effort. It's a team effort.
Well, regardless, this looks kind of cool. And it just clearly points out what a shitty analyst I am. So that's cool. Now, let's see. Was there anybody? I guess whoever column 3 is, they're probably the smartest. Derek! Derek, you got closest to us. Way to go, Derek. You're going to win the Booby Prize this week.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We should probably, I don't know how we do that. Do we like bold it or something like that? Which from week to week to week as who actually was closest? I don't know. So figure something out to do that. All right, so accolades to Derek. And the interesting thing is the market is actually up, up 2.8%. Because, man, when I was looking at the corn chart, I mean, we got this staring in our faces. We might find that this goddamn market just melts right down here. So I'm a little surprised that actually this is higher than where we were set. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's that hammer candle, yeah. So because it was right after the COMC, that was last Wednesday, and so we kind of went up a bit, then we just tanked through the rest of the afternoon. And then we just continued on for Wednesday night into Thursday. But yeah, it's that kind of that candle that you have the 0 drawn off of.
It was this candle, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting, because that even looks like it's down slightly.
It does.
But it's not.
I agree.
Yeah, look at that there.
However, we do the start of the show, which is technically 2 hours into the day.
So maybe it's 2 hours into this one.
If it collapsed at the start of the candle, then that's how we could see that. Yeah, I've always put in the price right when the show starts.
Yeah, so like this is my funny little lower time frame one. I was feeling all proud of myself. Oh, Brian, you're awesome. And then, no, you're not. So here was our last one here. And I guess, yeah, that's slightly higher, right? Interesting how we're just oscillating around Mr. Gann's 50% rule. And actually, this is interesting. You could, I think you could technically make the argument that if you invested in Bitcoin a year ago, it's pretty much a zero-sum game, eh? Mr. Vader, we'll put you over there. I guess we don't need all of these things on here. So fancy, like 5 years ago, there's no way you could have put these little logos on the chart. So cool. But where is well, yeah, here we are. So whoops, I guess that was kind of dumb. And I don't even know what I'm showing on YouTube. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay, yeah, cool. So last January, February. So here we are, basically big unchanged for the year now. So that's interesting. Wonder how the NASDAQ has done over that same time period. So I think NASDAQ was coming off a bit recently, wasn't it? Look at that. There's Brian went and bought more boring mining stocks. SKRR Exploration. Boring. That's what Brian's buying right now.
Is that a pun that it's boring? Like they're boring as in mining, or?
Never thought of that. You say you're very witty, Nick. Very witty. No, what that was I supposed to? Oh, QQQ. Oh, I just wanted to see what the Nasdaq has done in the past year. So where is 1 year ago? So Nasdaq is up a fair amount, right? Even if it's well, I guess started out of the gate, Nasdaq did pretty well last year. But even now, right? We'll go. Nasdaq's still up about 10-15% even from year ago levels. So. Yeah, interesting that the corn is actually unchanged, eh? I heard somebody else making another PayPal was sort of a good stock market proxy that's been following crypto equally. Geez, PayPal.
They had a bad earnings day today. So did Facebook.
Boom. Oh yeah, and then Facebook too, right? Because and it's kind of interesting how people are still calling this stock Facebook. Isn't it kind of interesting? Nobody's buying into this Meta fucking name change. I do find that kind of interesting. He's still up year to date, so maybe. Oh yeah, after hours. Look at that. So you can see after hours, this silly thing's gonna be $100 lower.
Yeah, it was like 25% lower after hours.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So you can almost see how this is carving out a huge head and shoulders, eh? Because it's going to be down here. My hunch is it'll probably rally back up into there. Fascinating, eh? So, are there any other stocks that, it's interesting. I was seriously contemplating buying some more of this coin if we get any signs of bottom. The rule here is that usually, and forgive the grid. Recently, I was super jazzed about doing these matrices. Usually, the rule in the stock market is these things, and it's interesting, right? Because I made the argument that this IPO I thought was the whole reason why the market was rallying last spring. But this is now a year. So usually the rule is that they bring these things to market probably about twice what they're really worth. And of course, Wall Street, sells it to the public at twice what it's worth. Ding, 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 ding. Awesome. They make a fortune and then it comes back down to earth. So half of 380 is basically 190. So here we are. I'm thinking about going and buying a little bit more. I did buy some back last year because I would like to own a chunk of this going forward. Just it's so expensive. I didn't want to sort of bet the farm on my first purchase. So like I said, I'm actually thinking about buying some more. Be interesting to see how this develops over here. Not really in a huge hurry though. And then sadly, oh my goodness. So how are the Wall Street bets doing and all those kind of people? Remember that guy? What's his name? David. Can't even pronounce his last name. He's always got that silly hammer that he's holding around. It's gets him subscribers, but not really great trading advice. That guy Plotny or something like that.
Oh, David Portnoy from Barstool Sports.
Yeah, well, you remember this time last year. I mean, the guy was like a stock picking guru. Right, and he fell in love with Riot. I think that's what it was, Riot blockchain. And you got to learn as investors. Oh boy, the TRI people we were loading up down here, and Mara. Do you remember Mara? Same thing. And this is what I killed the market on this one. Yeah, you can see all my sell abs on doubles. I mean, this was embarrassing. But you got to buy this stuff down here, not up here. And those guys were all up here. And they're just, the market's just destroyed them. But actually interesting how I drew this out. I love these squiggly line theories. So, and I like actually how TradingView sort of remembers this stuff. But actually this is looking out like it's pretty darn, look at that. There's a W there, son of a bitch. So that's not bad. Yeah, squiggly line theory for the win. So, maybe once this thing actually be interesting to see. Oh, yeah, look at the divs. So actually, I'm kind of glad we pulled this up. Yeah, I might do some shopping. Are we out of the mess yet? I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, the coins come down. It's about back to actually probably fair value. Actually, and I'm really interested in. Oh, hello! Look at what we got going on here. Now that's an interesting image. Unfortunately, I suppose if we look at crypto itself. This guy, I think, is being driven a lot on Luna's price action. And actually, half of what I wanted to do tonight is I want to mine these guys on their take of what the hell's going on in DeFi land. And, I've got my old-timer perceptions of what happened there, but I'd actually really like to hear what the boys have to say about DeFi tonight. But it's just interesting how Novogratz, who basically runs this stock, he's slightly a Luna fan. And actually, it's interesting. We've been joking recently, and I actually really like it now because I used to tell people in the past you have to understand the concept of cost of production when it comes to commodities. So this is a really, really good case study in people who are actually in the business and what is their cost to mine this commodity. And just for fun, we won't get into it tonight because really we should be hitting the spreadsheet. But just for fun, go and look up, and you can even see it on TradingView. I think they have a really nice. Yeah, look at this. They got a really nice news service. So just for fun, if you really don't, you're kind of tired of the, hey, technical analysis doesn't matter, or fundamentals don't matter when you invest. Go and look up what Hut's cost of production of a Bitcoin is. Because I've warned everybody in this space years and years and years, and I've seen this happen repeatedly. I don't want to go into too much diversion here, because you guys have heard me say this rant repeatedly. So I'm sure I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over. But, what is the cost of production of Bitcoin, and are you walking into a trap chasing inflated prices? So, and actually, this is a really good testament to what we do at TRI. I thought it was so cool the other day. Somebody pitched me a stock idea, and I go, okay, cool. So what do these guys do? And the guy's like, I don't know. I'm supposed to know what they're doing. I'm trading stocks. And I'm like, yeah, it's called fundamentals. Are you walking into a trap? I mean, how many shares are at? What's the... was valuations. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it one bit. Trying to figure out what the hell the value of a POS coin is. And maybe, the irony of it all is that I'm sure it's no accident. It's almost like history kind of like laughing at us that these coins are actually called POS. I mean, to me, that's it. You can't write a better joke than that. I'm surprised that fucking stand-up comics aren't running away with this shit. Oh, shit, yeah, there you go. So, anyway, I digress. Just try and remember that, we're rational investors here. Theoretically rational investing, and I'll just finish this and then we'll get on with the show. Sorry for the rant, everybody. But rational investing is the idea that I want to have like multiple reasons to justify acting. And of course, this is a pretty price chart and all that kind of fun stuff, M's and W's and all that. But really, at the end of the day, all I really want to do is just build edge. I just want the odds of success, if I'm going to do something, to be higher. So really, all rational analysis is part of the world loves to hunt fundamentals. Fundamentals, right? In stockland, PE ratios, in Bitcoin, S19s, F17s, that's fundamentals. And then, of course, there is the technical worlds, as our buddy Chico would say, lines, lines, look at all the lines. Hey, I want to snort that line. Woohoo! Sorry. Hey, now we're going to do a show. As Sean Penn would say. I remember one guy was so funny interviewing Sean Penn back in the 80s. And he's the guy's like, well, it was a lot of fun going to the beach and stuff. And Sean, and this is back when he was a total smartass. He goes, fun? You want to have fun? Get yourself a couple hookers and an 8-ball. Now that's fun. I wonder if he even remembers saying that line. I remember that. That killed me. That was the days when he used to be married to Madonna. I don't know whether you guys remember her or not. So, what the hell is rational analysis? Well, it's just really where the fundamental people and the technical people just agree and just say, fundamentalists say this is bullish. And the technical analysis people say, hey, this is bullish. Well, that's what rational analysis is, where we just want to try and find where these two agree. And, just looking at this image, the easiest way to think about this is, of course, good old weekly W's. Remember back here, last bottom, down here, there's your technicals, right? The W's and in reload zones. So that's where the technicians say buy. And, of course, at the time, we had higher cost of production machines that, we had a lot of anecdotal evidence that the industry standard was. In fact, I remember we had a guy on the site who did quite a bit of analysis, and he figured that cost of production, not really cost of production, but value for Bitcoin was around $2,000 or $3,000. Seem to remember that. So anyway, point of the matter is, fast forward to today. Probably you can see where the fundamentalists are. You can see where the technicians would be like, yeah, this is a buy. And you can see, here we are to here. We still got a little ways to go here, folks. So, we'll see how it goes. I actually think that we're carving out a big honkin' megaphone here, which means that, maybe we might even get the dip this cycle. I mean, every cycle is different, This cycle, maybe this thing just goes screaming right down, hits a value, and then just goes sideways for the next year or so into the next halvening event. And then once the halvening events come, then we know we're ready for the next face rip. Who knows? I wouldn't really get into the business of predicting the future. It's almost impossible to do. Trust me, I've been trying for 30 years. It just doesn't work. What I would say is try and identify when you see W's and indicators are pointing up momentum-wise, more W's in the indicators and stuff. And, trade your plan. Try not to take too much risk. And, of course, based on what type of risk taker you are, that will define your plan. And, of course, that's all about our school and all that kind of fun stuff. You even heard the guys earlier tonight say that, the risk management part of the education program is probably the one thing that actually saves the most people in this game, because new people to investing, they just don't understand the concept of risk management. So caveat emptor. Hopefully I gave you just a nice little pitch on why rational analysis is why I call myself the rational investor, and our approach. So with that said, we thought actually a great way to sort of use our time now while we're watching for the market to correct back into levels is why don't we go through our list. And actually Nick, he did this so cool. He kind of, I think he sort of did a then and now comparison. And he said some of the names that were in the top 10 are not in the top 10 and the top 100 and stuff. So it'll be cool to see sort of who's come and gone. But also, too, the names that we do want to review, can we just quickly sort of identify, look, you're probably best to wait for this level to come in, and then we'll start hunting for things like divergence, market structure, and seeing if we can justify actually taking a shot and trying to make some money from trading. So, where do we want to begin with this crazy adventure? Nick, you're the quarterback here of the spreadsheet now, it seems. So, what do you think? What do you think our course here should be?
So just so people understand what they're looking at now, all of the coins there are ranked current 1 to 100. And then the number just to the left on column C, that under rank, that is what
Column
it
C.
was the first time we went through it.
Okay.
So like for instance, Solana was number 17. It is now number 7.
Oh, okay.
Luna was 49. It is now 10.
Luna. Oh yeah, here. And then this
Yep.
is also Luna, isn't it?
Yeah, that's their stable coin. Yeah.
No. All right, cool. So super stoked to attack this. I what do you when Derek, when you look at this, what would you suggest? I mean, between the two of you, what would you suggest is the best way to approach this?
I mean, I think we just go down the list and kind of give a quick, like you just mentioned, kind of give a quick idea of maybe what some decent levels are, and
Okay.
if we can sort of, I mean, maybe
Should
the
we
things
just-
that we
Sorry.
go ahead.
All right. Should we just use the same symbol and market that we used for the previous one? Like this is stamp.
Oh yeah. I think we should stay consistent if we can. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so
Especially
let's-
with
If you guys can just sort of, we'll try and, Brian talks way too much, but we'll try and get through as many coins as possible here. So if you can just tell me, we'll just see if we can just kind of go through as many as we can. If you can just sort of lay up to me what the symbol is you want me to fire in and what exchange and etc. We can just bang through these. I don't know. I mean, if anything, maybe it would be better that we just do a lot of charts and Brian try and refrain from talking so much this tonight. Who knows? Give it a go. Good luck, Brian. All right. So first up, BTC USD. Oh, and this is stamp, and it was weekly.
I was just say, yeah, you might want a new layout because this one seems a little dirty.
Yeah, and actually, I just put a tweet out. Nasty candle that we just saw there. Oh, horrible candle. So, well, we'll see how it goes. So, BTC, USD, and do we want to do like sort of a checklist kind of thing and go through sort of the TA, or do we want to just, Brian's rant, or what do we want to do? How do we want to do this? Like maybe do we just want to stick to location? See if we can just bang out.
yeah. I mean, I would say start out with location and then keep it to a minimum, unless you have something.
I think you can look
Super
at things
important.
like maybe throw a trend line on there because like maybe we have been flirting with some trend lines here. But
Okay,
Off
so
and
we'll start. We'll just keep this as simple as possible here. We'll maybe even just talk a little bit about volume. So actually, it's not bad. So we'll do reload zones, maybe a trend line, and then some volume analysis, and just keep it onto one chart. Nice and simple. In fact, actually, here, why don't we'll go move to new pane below. All right, so nice and simple. All right, so Bitcoin, what can we say? At or below reload zones. That's not a bad thing. Good part about it too is this also. I'm a really big fan of WD GAN and sort of 50% retracement of trading ranges over annual basis. Actually, I don't even mind if we do our study off of that annual basis. And we'll throw on our 50% rule. My hunch is we're just okay. So the off of the entire range, going off of the bottom, I think we are at the 50% rule, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I mean going from 3,000 to 69, that'd be 36 in the middle.
Yeah. Even if we just go something like that and just go boom. So, interesting enough, this actually is a very acceptable level. We also have all of these supports. It's going to take a truckload of selling to bust through all of this. So I don't think it does it on the first go. I mean, it might. Like I said, probably not a good idea to get into the business of predicting the future. But if I said just sort of statistical odds, I would say the odds are in favor that we turn up somewhere here. And probably, either it looks something along the lines of just like a little one like that or something like that. Something down in that area. That would make sense to me. In fact, actually, just something like that. would make sense. And then, like I said, what I'm worried about is actually next fall. Right, so maybe we do something like that. Whoops. Like that. And then, next fall, oh boy, that's what I would be expecting. In fact, probably draw a line off of that. So what is that? 32, and half of that would be 16. And that's basically exactly what, to all intents and purposes, that was the same thing that happened through here. History never repeats itself exactly. But big dump. Remember we said that's when Mr. Garzarello, I think his name was Garzarello, I can't remember. But here's also a good example. Remember we, referencing look left and previous lows. You can see bang into there. There. I mean, it took forever. It had to play around this level. And then the final dump. And that is in sort of November of the following year. So that's what I would be expecting, something like that. So that means that there should be some sort of support in here. That's not a bad level to be thinking about. Also, too, seasonally, there should be, like the Wall Street guys, they do the business of, buy when it snows, sell when it goes. So, and I think there's a high correlation of technology stocks and that kind of thing to Bitcoin. So there should be some sort of seasonal peak into here. I mean, that's what should happen. But you notice, like, look how long this took to consolidate. Right? From like here to here, and then it actually starts turning back up there. So that whole time of the consolidation, we might not actually see the market turn back up in earnest until March. In fact, actually, that's pretty normal because I don't know. Have you guys been in crypto through 420?
Yeah, I was here last year. Yep.
Usually, it's a pretty fun period in crypto. People are running around, pot coins and all that. Remember, did you guys participate in any of the pot coins like THC and CANN?
I remember seeing them. I never actually bought any of those. Yeah,
Oh,
but I remember that was like a thing for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was tons of pot coins. Anyway, so the point being that actually I kind of like that thinking. It's gonna take a while to get through this muck here. And actually, I don't mind that as actually sort of like a buying window. The only problem that I have is I don't know what the other side of this rally. I honestly, I mean, maybe we can come all the way back up top here. Maybe. I think statistical odds are we probably do something like reload zones going the other way. Right up into that area. Kind of like against all these highs up here. So, look for that counter trend rally. I kind of like that thinking, but I don't think it starts for a little while. So that's probably what I'm going to put in the database. That's sort of my grand thinking here. Believe it or not, actually, this doesn't look like a terrible trade location. But I think you are going to have to wait a bit. I guess also too. So actually, that's a reference to trade location and expectations going forward with price. Trend line, our rule is, and there's probably all this W type action here. If we get that over here, as soon as you get a W come in here, you're probably good to go. And it's on the other side of the trend line, so we're okay there. I did notice quite a few little cryptocurrencies have been losing their uptrend lines, like Luna, for example. He slipped back below his trend line. If this thing just never does W, then it just never does W. That's just the way it goes, folks. If you're kind of like, well, Brian, I need a lot of reasons. My advice, honestly, is wait till about 6 months prior to the next halving. That's probably you're like, okay, I want a low risk time to start acquiring this thing.
So that'd be what, about November of 23?
Could be. Remember I did up some cool charts. this kind of thing. But I did a totally. Let's see if it's still around here. There it is. All right. So what's this? There's and I actually even did like sort of if it repeats the same. You have the bottom, right, which I think is going to be somewhere around 10 to 15 Gs. And then you have the reload trades, right? This is Kavarkinator's trade. And actually, it's so cool. Like, Nick actually got a chance to meet Kevin. So, I want to make him famous for this trade because it took balls of steel. It was a tough trade, and it was exactly the right trade. So I think that next one comes in. That comes in February 2024. So the bottom will come in March of 2023, and our next halvening is supposed to be in April 2024, right? And if you're lucky, you get one of these kind of crazy ass trades. But I don't plan on doing this. Like I said, this is like, if you're gonna have like a Hall of Fame of kick-ass fucking trades to squawk about, that's Kevin's trade there. I mean, that's epic. That's rock star. If you can pull that off and you can show me that you did this kind of trade, and what's really interesting too is he was barking about 55 grand as being a top of the market. So if we go chaos. Boom. I think he was calling for like this number up here, which wouldn't have been a bad level. If your average sell level on the corn was up here, then I think you won. So anyway, point being that does that sort of make sense? Does that speak to what you were just saying there, Nick? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that fits the time frame.
Right on. Okay, so little old ladies, and look at, I don't want to walk into a dangerous situation. Really, it's terrible at this is you probably just want to leave this alone for probably about a year or something. All right, so trade. Yeah, there might be something developing in here. And looking for, I mean, the interesting thing is especially if you do things like deribit options and stuff. I did hear somebody. Did you guys hear about any kind of option? There's and you should know about this, Nick. What's that? Somebody was mentioning that there is a decentralized options market building in crypto now.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I think the one you're thinking about, somebody mentioned in level 3 class yesterday, it was Dopax, DPX.
Yeah. I mean, have you poked around on any of that stuff?
I'm waiting until we get through our options class.
Oh, that's a smart move. Hey, why don't you take Derek over there? Help him write his final exam.
I'm on it.
I want to give you that veteran tag, right? I mean, you still haven't written your exam, have you?
Look, I've been going back to all the material, because I've had a lot of time lately, just to do it. But I mean, I'm gonna take the test. No, I just haven't done it.
All right, just do it. I wanted to give you that tag, man. Just do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it.
Anyway, you and Nick, I knew it. We'll have a race. Let's see if Nick beats you to the vet tag.
That's the one thing I gotta do. I gotta definitely take it before Nick takes it. So.
I was gonna say I don't think I have much to do on that. I'm gonna take it whenever I'm done. So Derek, you got what, like 9 weeks left?
The clock is ticking. Anyway, so what can I say here? If you want to trade this, you can see 50% bounces. I'm just assuming that this is a floor, as it is right now. I wouldn't. In fact, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I could very easily see a counter trend rally right back to 50 Gs. I think into like the Super Bowl. Have you guys heard? I haven't really heard actually much of that, to be honest with you. But have you guys heard at all anything about Snoop Doggy Dogg and Super Bowls and NFTs or anything like that?
I mean, outside of just that it's happening in a week and a half now, and that.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen much on. Even I watched some of the playoff games. I didn't see much talking about halftime shows yet, at least, but.
Well,
I've seen some on social media, but not as much like when I was watching TV. I didn't see much in terms of commercials yet for that. But I guess they'll probably start ramping up here because that's the next big event. So
yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. How about politically? Have you guys heard of really anything much been going on politically in the crypto, sort of out of Washington and politicians and stuff? Anything that's really caught your attention?
So, not necessarily politician based, but there was some news, and Nick actually earlier on in the chat, he did mention this, and I had seen it right before we went live. There was a court case where apparently this couple won their case where they were not going to be taxed on crypto yield that they had gotten from staking. So like your proof of stake, you stake, you get yield. They weren't going to get taxed on that until they sold it. Whereas currently everyone's interpretation of the rule in the US is that the moment that you claim yield, that becomes income that then needs to be taxed.
Wow.
But these guys
and what state was that in?
I forget the state. I looked at it like 5 minutes before we went live. So, but I wouldn't say that that's necessarily like a new rule, but it is an interesting precedent that's been set.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what their reasoning behind that was.
Yeah, I need to look into it more. I don't want to say too much about it and maybe misspeak.
I kind of like that thinking, and it would make a lot of sense. Ironically enough, if you actually tallied up all of the gains and losses, I'd be wondered to see whether people actually have a net gain out of all of this experience with crypto. I mean, no offense, but actually most people that speculate in the market lose money. So to add insult to injury, to get audited for all these little staking rewards, it might just be, at the end of it, you do the audit and it turns out it just breaks these people because they've already lost a lot of money. So fascinating. And I do like that because then that way it'll keep it nice and clean, where it's the on-ramp on and the off-ramp out that you get taxed in. So actually, if you got the link to that, that would be good to both tweet out and talk about it in the community.
Yeah, so Wade's saying it was in Nashville. So Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yep.
That's interesting. Tennessee. Because I think I saw somewhere that in Arizona, I think they were even thinking about making crypto like legal tender or something.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that'll pass at all, but
I think that was more just sort of hopium.
we'll see.
But I think they have gold and silver. I think they actually made them legal tender in Arizona, didn't they? I seem to remember that. Anyway,
I don't know.
Okay, so there's your Bitcoin chart. The only other piece that I would add to this is ideally if you're a bull, you want to see rising volume. If you're actually an aggressive bear, you'd actually like to see rising volume too. What I see here, it looks like everybody's just sort of falling asleep when it comes to sort of participation. Which is probably another sign that, maybe at best it would be great if we just consolidated sideways. My hunch is if they start busting through these lows here, that is going to bring the volume out big time. But I don't know whether they've got the oomph behind it right now. So, if anything, you can see these are the red bars, so we can sort of do our volume impetus. Huge selling. Smaller selling. Everybody's just quieting down here. And my hunch, as long as this, and of course the buyers, they've also backed off. But my hunch is as long as this sort of is decelerating, everybody's falling asleep. I think, we're going to bump up into probably this is going to generate some volume down in here. If it is huge selling bars and they start breaking this peak on red bars, then we got trouble. But my hunch is actually if there's going to be a breakout, it's actually going to be that we hold these lows and we see some buying come in, take us back up to 50% rules. So there might be a nice trade here, but there's nothing to do right now. Actually, and I'm a little surprised. Kind of thoughts about, they're going to rally the market into the Super Bowl and that kind of stuff. I haven't seen anything. I thought it made total sense, but I just haven't seen anything. And it's really weird. I mean, I really have not heard too much crypto out of Gene Simmons. I haven't heard too much crypto out of Snoop Dogg, other than the NFT kind of idea. I think we also Paris Hilton. She's big on the NFTs right now too, eh? So
Yeah.
shilling it to sort of her elite society type people. But other than that, it feels as though the euphoria, the oomph has been the air has been let out of the bag.
One thing I will say on that though, the main reason Tom Brady gave to when he was retiring, when he announced his retirement, he said all the stuff about how you need to be 100% in, you need to be able to devote all your time to it, and I think I'm at the point where I need to devote most of my time to something else, and that something else he was referring to is his new NFT startup.
Oh God, you're kidding me!
I am not kidding you. It's called like
Jesus.
autograph or
Yeah, it's autograph. They were setting that up like last. I thought it was gonna be launched already, but I think they had kind of started setting it up like last summer time frame.
Wow.
So.
You know what that reminds me of is, do you guys, well, wasn't it one of you that I think one of you was referred to us by Davinci, right? I think Derek, was it you?
Yeah, I used to follow him.
Didn't Davinci have a coin? Whatever happened to that coin of his?
Yeah, I think it's still around.
What's
But
the
I don't
name
know.
of it?
I think he was Da Vinci, something like that. Like,
Is it called Davinci Coin?
I think so.
Anyway,
it was on Ether. It was on ETH. There, DJ 15.
Davinci.
DJ
Talk
15.
about a fucking ego rush, eh?
DJ 15. That's what it is. I think
Yeah,
Those who the gods wish to destroy. Uh-oh.
It's Derek's right. It's totally that bottom one.
Oh, boom!
I don't think
Ouch.
that's the right one.
Is that the right one? Oh, that hurts.
I don't know if it is.
Maybe not. Anyway,
That's
you
a
know,
rough chart.
I got a funny feeling this is Tom Brady's future. you better understand that he's gonna come out, he's gonna make a splash, and then he'll go into correction. And you know, the irony of it all is the same thing happens in the stock market. And we were joking on the site about how about a year or so ago, God, this lady, it was like she walked on water. Couldn't believe good old Kathy Woods. And lately, her name has just gotten ripped apart. And I've said repeatedly, well, you know, why don't we just go trade circles around her and we'll make profit just off of her mutual fund. So actually, if you're telling me that Tom Brady's getting into the space, I'm going to start trading his coin, and I'll do this kind of shit and just have fun with him. But that can't.
What
be
it
a
is?
good
It was
sign.
the Davinci J15 coin.
I wonder if this was it though. Maybe this.
I mean, it's not
isn't
much
it.
different.
Is this
But
something
it's
totally different?
No, type in D. It was DJ15.
DJ15. Well, I suppose a lot of oh, there you go. Versus ETH. All right, let's hope this is. Yeah. Okay.
It's a little better.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be fun to trade the Tom Brady coin. That'll be interesting. Mind you, mind you, I've never liked the guy because remember I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, right? So he's kind of like the devil incarnate. So it'll be fun to if he's getting into this space and he actually has a coin. It'll be fun to comment on that. Great. Oh God, here comes trouble. Fascinating, eh? Absolutely fascinating. Okay, so where were we? We talked a little bit about Bitcoin. Actually, I think we talked a lot about Bitcoin there. Where's the chart that I was showing you? Oh, was it that one? Maybe it was over here. Nope. Yeah, it must have been this one then. So we talked a little bit about Bitcoin levels. I actually don't mind the idea of some sort of pivot here, but look at how they did the lows here, right? Look how they have like these M's and then bang they blow out the M's, and you know they had a nice little W and then boom blow out the lows of the W, and then you know the low is just round, just almost like new low and then straight up. So this bottom, if it does come in here over the next couple months here, this is gonna be uglier than poop. You know, really, it's just gonna be blech. So Don't be surprised if this breaks a few hearts here over the next month or two, with lots of FUD. And actually, probably not a bad opportunity. The boys, actually, okay. Why don't we leave it at that? I'll put this chart in the spreadsheet, and then let's move on to the next game. All right, so new chart here. Yeah, we got one done tonight. That's not so bad. All right.
Hey, that's better than we've done the last 10 weeks or so.
Ouch.
Well, I'm just saying we haven't put a link on the spreadsheet
We're on
since
to
2021.
All right,
ETH
so
ETH
Ethereum.
USD.
Where do we want to look at this one?
ETH USD on Bitstamp 1 day is what you
Oh,
looked at
okay.
last
We'll
time.
go with ETH USD on stamp. So we'll look at the cash market. Oh boy, this looks worse. Well, I mean, hopefully you can see the same head and shoulders pattern. So, unfortunately, oh boy, man, this is painful. But I suppose it had to happen. Interesting how we are at Mr. Gann's 50% level. What was interesting too I found about this is there's something suspicious about this high here, because when I go sort of like what's the date range from low to high, and you notice that says 425 bars, then I take half of that, so that would be like 213 bars or so, somewhere around there. Let's go like that. And we'll go 213, right? Something like that. It's 50%. So Mr. Gann would be like, all right, that's where your 50% level should be traded to right there. And notice here we are here. So I'm a bit suspicious about this, because it almost feels like this was supposed to be the high, but, you know, Wall Street fuckery. Maybe that was like a nice little stopwatch. And I mean, look at that M up there. So textbook. And this is the definition of a top of a market, folks. I mean, wow. That is just brutal up there. So, you know, you look at that. I suppose we could make the argument... reload zones. So Bosch, where should I be thinking about buying some of this? I remember last year, right? We I don't know whether we did it. Did we do it while we were doing these shows, or was it beforehand? But I remember I was barking about how I thought 61.8 would set up a really cool buying opportunity. Were we doing the shows then, or was it before that?
I think we were, but I remember you talking about the buying opportunity of a lifetime on the Daily Brief a few times.
Yeah. So that was that trade. Problem is, can you keep going back to the well off of that level? So now, interesting enough, Mountain Man is going to be slightly higher than those lows. I would expect us to come down into here, but just like Bitcoin, right? If we start breaking through this low and that low and that low, oh my goodness, the institutional people, they're going to start shitting their pants. It's going to be a really bad scene. So I don't think we're going to go through those lows. I could see us stab. I mean, very much like stab, stab, stab. I could see that. In fact, we might even see stab, you know, stab, stab, stab. Right? Just like the Bitcoin chart over that next month or so, it's just painful as hell through here. I could totally see that. And really, I guess what I'm seeing here is just a massive fractal. So shoulder, head, next shoulder should be there. So something along, something along those lines. Which is interesting, because that's going to set up a hell of a rally, eh?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at, if you're thinking about Bitcoin maybe doing a 50% rally from here to 50K, if you're looking at ETH almost doing a 2x, if you get that loop down that you have there, just thinking about what some of the other smaller altcoins can do during that period is crazy.
Yeah. So, and interestingly enough, right? If you go the trend line here, you can kind of see that they're setting this up here already. I can see there's going to be a fight up here. I can see it coming. It's interesting how, and I don't know whether it happens this quickly though. I'm almost worried that there's going to be like a bit of a rally here, kind of like this. So there's going to be a little bit of a rally. Everybody's like, oh, okay, this is it. And then boom, down into here and then go. Because we've been passing around on the site. There's a report by Edward something Smith. I can't remember his name. Where you take all the years and you add up all the years and sort of the average of years that end in 2. So 2022, 2012, 2002, 92, 82, 72, whatever. And it's kind of suggesting that we are weak into about the middle of the summer. And then there's a hell of a rally coming out the other side. So actually, I think that's probably more accurate. We should probably even adjust our Bitcoin kind of thinking. That's going to look... And actually, this kind of makes sense, eh? Because check out this. If we go from the peak, let's say that there is the middle of the fractal, right? The billiard ball theory kind of thing. So if we go, say, something like there to there, then we flip this around. There you go. That's not such a bad roadmap. So that would be sort of... Actually, yeah, look at that, eh? So we never did get this rally here, though. Maybe that's what's happening right now as we're getting that. But actually, I kind of like that. Actually, it's interesting how I'd sort of said with that peak and then the dump. So this would put the dump. And actually, I do like this thinking because I think the ultimate low comes in here sometime in like May, June, July. Then I think there's going to be a wicked counter trend rally. And then, like I said, next fall, that's when I'm really worried about this whole space falling apart. So actually, that's not a bad forecast, something along those lines. So why don't we... there's your trend line. Actually, interesting how that lines up nicely with that trend line thinking. Volume, same sort of thing. I don't think there's anything for us to really get too excited about other than what I will say here is it looks like we have the smatterings. See how volume went really low here. Then it started to perk up. Then it backed off. It did not go to lower lows, and it actually is turned up here. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Whoops. There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, it is on a bit, it's selling volume, so that's a bit bothersome. You can see that the green bars, though, we kind of sort of petered out here. We hit basically a low. Everybody went to sleep. You can see even the green bars are starting to perk up a bit here. So there is a bit more market activity down here. That's encouraging. And it might even just be that we're finally getting the proverbial shoes to drop. And usually these things come in threes. And actually, this is probably a good segue, since this is this space. I found I remember when I was I got into some fender benders, and it was so weird. I literally had 3 fender benders I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't had a speeding ticket. I never had a speeding ticket before that. I totaled a car back in the 80s, but I never had a speeding ticket. And then all of a sudden I had 3 fender benders. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, it's just weird how life works that way. They always come in 3. So we had Danny blow himself up with the Wonderland. So there's one. Then, if I'm not mistaken, I think Solana just exploded, didn't it?
Yeah, their bridge. I think they got taken for... Well, it was some enormous number. It was like 80,000 Ethereum.
Whoa.
Kaboom.
I'm going to Google because I want to make sure. That's a huge number. I want to make sure that was correct.
Yeah, I did see I think I retweeted tweets and stuff like that.
Yeah, 80,000 Ethereum, which is about $200 million.
I mean, at this point, you could probably say, Solana's poorly built at this point. I mean, for whatever reason, either it keeps breaking, from what I understand, blockchain offline or this type of stuff is just kind of furthers that, I don't know, that narrative, in my opinion. Like that's one reason I probably wouldn't necessarily, want to invest in it. Maybe a trade, but not like a longer term investment. Like I don't think that, things like that are good. But
It's
I'm sure you still have.
fascinating how. Sorry, Derek. Finish your thought.
No, that's it. I mean, I just think it's been very sort of inconsistent. I mean,
Mm.
that's
This is the
what it comes
guy
down
that
to.
was testifying in front of Congress that hey, crypto's our future, right?
Yeah, technically, Sam Bankman-Fried owns FTX, which
Yeah.
is an exchange that kind of runs on Solana. But he speaks for Solana a lot too.
Yeah. So interesting when we look at this image, how very different it is to the Bitcoin and the Ethereum chart, eh? And we were talking there, both Ethereum, and actually maybe we should throw this in the spreadsheet before we move on. Point here is like there's key support on Ethereum, and we're pretty close, right? I mean, maybe we have some stabs in here. I don't know whether we counter trend rally, but I do like the idea of stabs down in here against these key pivot lows and some sort of bottom. I mean, that's pretty darn close. What is that? It's 2,600, and that's like 1,900 Mountain Man, right? So, so about 20%. It's like pretty close. But, so we'll throw that in the spreadsheet. So now we're just killing production here. Whoops. Oh, I always make that mistake. It drives me crazy how TradingView's done that. I always make that mistake. Because they have to do a lot of charts for journaling and stuff like that, so it drives me nuts. I haven't trained my brain yet to default to that. I'm always pasting images in my darn spreadsheets.
Yeah. I do kind of want to piggyback off of what Derek was saying. I have personally been a little shocked by the troubles that Solana's been having as well. I wonder if part of it is because it got so much attention this year and it got attention really quickly. I'm wondering if in the past other blockchains have been able to kind of work through their kinks before they got popular. Like I still long term I have some faith because it seems like their devs are really smart, but I agree it's I don't want to be on there right now using the platform. I definitely trade the coin, but I'm going to be waiting a while before I put too many funds onto that blockchain.
And I guess the worry that I have is that it's a centralized exchange, right?
So they have their own blockchains and they have their own dexes. Like they have like Serum is a dex and the other one Radium is a dex. They have decentralized chains and protocols and coins, but
okay. I guess just like the sheer difference. If anything, when I look at this chart, I think one thing: too far, too fast. And if we use the same logic as Bitcoin and Ethereum, the fact that we busted through that low is a bad sign. Look left, you got a minor pivot there. I mean, that was on pretty heavy volume. So I would imagine there's going to be a bit of a fight there. But really key support is there, and there.
Man, I would love to buy some Solana at 15 to 20 bucks.
Well, careful what you wish for. You might just get it good and hard. What happens if you buy it at 15, 20 bucks and it goes down to $1? Then you're going to go, God, that's the worst thing I ever did. So, careful. That's all I'm going to say is just careful. I've seen that happen way too many times. If Ben were here, of course, Ben would say, you're not going to get through $58. It just ain't going to happen, buddy. But, I could understand if you're like, I'm willing to step in and do a little bit of nibbling off of 78.6s and horizontal support and resistance, old breakout levels. There's probably a ton of buy orders sitting down in that area. And if anything, this is interesting commentary on Mountain, because usually what happens in the futures markets, and that's where I knew the guy, is you're going to get some sort of initial reactionary move off a Mountain. That's almost always happens. But quite often I notice that low does eventually get taken out. So I wouldn't anticipate that being the bottom. But if we got a healthy bounce off of that level, it wouldn't surprise me either. But just looking at this looks, really, like I said, if I was going to, hold a gun to your head, where is key support? It's down against all of these lows.
I was gonna say this is the coin we're gonna be doing in like 3 more coins. So if you just want to get this one out of the way and fully flesh it
Yeah,
out.
well, what I'm, I mean, we can always just throw it on later on in the list, eh? So, I just do that. In fact, I might even just draw like up trend lines like that. And down trend lines like I kind of did earlier, kind of just eyeballing. And I mean, the thing is this structure now is probably like turning into like a weekly top. I don't know yeah. So that one candle, I mean, talk about a doji candle, eh? So, on the weekly chart, I'd probably say something like that. So there's your trading range. And there's Ben right down there. So I would say if you're really lucky, you get a nice little zoop, 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 and back up. That would be a killer trade. Well, we'll see how it goes. Let's go back to the daily chart. Anyway, we'll split it. Actually, ooh, did you just see that? I thought I saw that. What does that look like up top that's working there? This might give us a good idea of downside targets. Yeah, something like that. Oh, actually, it looks like maybe it's already been hit. So, I don't know whether we really want to inject Foggenbaum into this or not, but definitely looks like a head and shoulders top. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess the interesting thing there is it's cockeyed, so yeah, kind of hard to measure this stuff when it's cockeyed. When it's nice and symmetrical, it's really easy. But something along those lines there. So I would be thinking, and the problem here is when it's log, it's a little bit tricky to draw. So we go boo-ba-da-boo, and then go clone. And this is where the scientific part comes in. We gotta go here, and then the breakdown is over here, and oh, actually, look at that! Son of a gun. Maybe the correction's done. That's off. I mean, other than the head and shoulders, I mean, maybe there's something like a 200 SMA or something like that that's acting as support here. But other than the head and shoulders objective, good to see that. Well, actually, I guess not really that relevant. Let's see. Okay, maybe this makes sense. So you see how this high here, we came down and kissed that. So you have the head and shoulders objective, and you also have this key high. There was probably a whole bunch of buy orders that were just sitting. The market broke out. Somebody said, well, don't chase, just work your order at the breakout level, and when it comes back over time, you buy. So boom, they just got filled. So I think that's what happened there. Be interesting too to see whether we have a bull div coming in here. What the hell? Throw all this on. Boom. Survey says that's not terrible. Oh, actually a bull div over here. Double D's maybe? I like double D's. Willie was stupid, so we did get signs that the market is oversold. RSI even went oversold. I don't know whether I really want to. You know what this reminds me of right here is actually I didn't do it on this one, but I went and picked up a little bit of Ave, sort of same sort of thinking that hey, maybe this little bottom here will hold and we can sneak in and grab some. So that's probably the same way I would look. If you're going to buy this here and we break through these lows, you better get out. You just better walk away because it could get ugly. That's what I'll do on that Ave if that happens.
Ave does have a lot of really good fundamentals coming up in the next few months.
Well, that's always a bonus. I like to hear that. Okay, so there is my sort of chat up, if you will, markup. We're right on the cusp, you know, and actually, let's keep this on here. Let's see how this plays out. I got a funny feeling this isn't going to hold, but we might get a nice little pop up here because this Head and Shoulders level has been traded to. It's interesting how that's so much bigger than here, though, eh? Because I changed that to log scale. That shrunk all that up there down. Well, anyway, let's we'll add that to the spreadsheet. It's not a terrible idea now that we're back into reload zones. It's just I don't think you want to bet the farm here. You know, my rule and what I like to teach people is, you know, if you're just like Brian, I got too much on my plate. I can't sit and watch the screen 24/7. My just simple strategy is, okay, you know, never risk more than 5% of your portfolio on any one idea. I just don't think it's a good idea to do that, and that's just to keep you safe if the whole damn market collapses. If you're like, you know, kind of like you heard Nick there, man, if this thing came down into that $25-30, I'd just buy the crap out of it. Okay, well, there's no reason why you can't just, you know, even now, you know, say like I'm going to put a max of 5% of my stake into this. And I'll just go and let's say, you know, at Mountain Man, we'll buy 1/2 of 1%. Well, why don't we go 0.5%? And then that way, you could do 10 purchases over the next month or two. Anybody who's watching these videos, this is exactly what we did. Well, not trade-wise, but you remember last spring when we actually started this, and we basically were painting a whole bunch of sort of reload zones, and the market came down, turned around, then went rallying right back up, and you know, even said Nick said he made a bit of money there in that rally at the end of that last year. So that's what my suggestion is here, is that, you know, because we are at or below reload zones, you can start like nanny nibbles accumulations. Planting flowers is a setup I think Grim teaches in the level 1 program, how to address that, and start accumulating. And I'm a big fan of 78.6, so that's where I'd really like to be a buyer, and that's sitting right around, like I said, about $50 or so. So anyway, food for thought. I guess I didn't do any real markup here, so why don't we just go with that? And actually, I threw on all that other stuff just to see if there were some divs and stuff, eh? Okay, so why don't we take that? We didn't really look at the volume, but I didn't see anything volume-wise that was too staggering. Let's see. This is actually good to see. You can see the buyers can actually a really good lesson on volume impetus. After I just said nothing happened here. If we actually, we'll get rid of the bears. We don't want to see the bears right now. So bears, you go away. So these are the bulls. And look, you can see. Looks like a higher highs and higher lows, eh? So we don't quite have the on-balance volume study trending higher. We would like to see higher highs and higher lows. But at least we've got like signs that the bull is trying to wake up here. So let's see how that develops. And ideally, what we'd really love to see is we'd love to see the bears just completely go to sleep. Let's see what the bears are doing here. The bears. The Bearstein Bears. So bears, you can see they're still pretty active as well. So we'd actually like to see lower highs. In fact, if we could get a really, really low volume bar here, if that's a down bar, that might actually tell us that the bears have fallen asleep here. So keep your eyes peeled there. We want to see the bears M out, and we want to see those green bulls come alive and paint higher highs. Anyway, we'll keep an eye out for that. And I guess that makes sense, right? It would make sense that the bulls, you know, back down in reload zones are finally going, okay, well, maybe it's worth starting to buy now. Okay, so let's go Well, I guess we can put all this away. All right. Spreadsheet. And you said this one's fairly down the list, eh?
No, it's
oh.
yeah, just right there. Yeah. So we were gonna get to it.
All right. BNB. Do we really want to look at CZ's coin? Why did I see somebody in the lounge said CZ was in trouble? Did he do something wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No?
Looking at news here.
I thought I saw somebody in the lounge said something about CZ was doing something it wasn't supposed to be doing. I don't know.
Seems like
Sorry?
a couple days ago, it looks like they restricted a bunch of Nigerian crypto trading accounts on Binance,
boy.
but I don't know. I don't like that. That just came up from a Google search.
Prince of Nigeria.
That seems about right.
Crypto.
But I mean, nothing big is coming up news wise.
I guess that and so that $250 million hack of is it Solana? Is that what the hell
Solana.
that
Yeah,
is?
it's
Doesn't have
their
anything
bridge.
to do with CZ.
I don't think so, but
Isn't that weird? I wonder who said somebody posted something like CZ was in trouble. I don't know. I can't see it, so no big deal. Okay, so I guess we're not gonna like BNB coin. Do we? I guess you guys.
I mean, I put it on there. I forget why, but you refused to chart it the first time.
I refused.
Well, we
I
deleted
choose
it. I'm not
to
sure,
chart.
I'm not sure why we deleted it, but it got deleted.
Problem is, what do you look at? I mean, okay. Well, anyway, we'll just do a quick boo. I don't know. Is this something that you would actually buy to speculate with? Isn't this that you're supposed to use this to pay the fees?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with ETH. People speculated. Plenty of people speculate on ETH.
So the BNB you use to fuel the Binance Smart Chain,
The decentralized
exchange.
Don't forget, you also get discounts on trading fees.
Yeah.
So that's more utility than ETH.
Which one should we look at here?
I'd probably do the Tether one, like 4 from the bottom.
That one?
Yeah, that's what I'd probably pick for BNB.
That's what you got here. Oh man, that looks uglier than poop. If anything, really, really good analogy of selling against highs and buying against lows, eh? So, ironically, there's my reload zone. Actually, this is like Ethereum backwards. So this would be this selling opportunity of a lifetime. Right there. How ironic. So, that sell, and it did sort of work, I guess. Then we went right back up against the old highs. I mean, like, do people actually own this and speculate with this? Look at that incredible M up there, eh? Jeez, look at that. It's like M within an M within an M. Really handy to learn this stuff, people. Especially anybody watching on YouTube and stuff. This is what you gotta learn. So if we go, let's do this kind of smaller, though. Yeah, so there. Then you got this little thing here. Then that rally up there, and boosh. So there's your top, and then another M right there. So this little M, that was confirmed right there. This bigger M, that was confirmed there. Then you have like, geez, look, you got this M here. Confirmed. And then this huge M. Confirmed. Oh boy. That's a brick wall. There's just so many trap bulls up here. Yeah, probably something along those lines. So, I mean, I don't know what you do with this thing. Other than paying Binance fees, which is probably purely a function of if Bitcoin's still in a bull market, then more people, more noobs will come in and want to participate and stuff, and that bids up the demand for these kind of things. And then if Bitcoin goes into bear, I'm sure the exact opposite happens. So I could probably even do something like that. So actually interesting that we pivoted there. So there's probably a lot of people in the public that are drawing these exact same trend lines. So I would imagine a lot of people are seeing that. Actually, that's a little bit off of there. And then we can do one here. So that's there. I mean, I don't know why you would be interested in something like this. I'm not even quite sure what I just don't understand why you would want to speculate on something like this. This was when the DeFi sort of space came alive, all through here.
Yeah, the Binance had a huge pump there, and like Pancake Swap did incredible. Like the whole ecosystem did really well through that period.
So I would imagine, unfortunately, this is really just a sentiment proxy. Interesting. Sort of learning material for the audience. Notice, we even teach in the education program that it's so cool is our day traders. We have one day trader on this site who's just killing it lately. And he's like, oh my God, OBV divs are just the best. But I don't know whether this is a divergence here or not, but it sure looks like it. Where you can see price made new highs. And I think we have crude oil doing exactly the same right now. I mean, is crude oil right now moving higher because of really, really strong demand, really strong economy, all that kind of stuff? Or is crude oil moving higher because there's some guy running around in Eastern Europe causing trouble? So I'll leave that up to you to decide. I can't tell whether that's actually a div or not. Let's see, what number is that? 602, 59, 602. 600, 603.50. Oh, they just, by a whisker, took it to new highs there, So where was that? Right up there, 602, 603. Look at the beautiful little double top that came in right there on the OBV, though. Wow, is that ever pretty? Boom, 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 boom. Huge sell signal right there. So, I don't know whether I'd really call that a divergence. It's so close. 602.57, and this high here was 603.5. So it just barely squeaked to a new high. But then instant M, see you later. So, I guess I don't know whether I'd really call that a div. But, man, I think that OBV break there was such a huge tell. Notice also here too, look how when we came up into this level, am on OBV. Tell you, this OBV indicator is totally awesome. Just, it's, people don't like to see these kind of messages when you're in a bull. No way, man, this time it's different. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, the thing is, I don't understand why I would want to buy this thing. So, I think it's a sentiment play. And at the very best, what this is saying right now is top of the range, brick wall. I doubt it's going through there anytime soon. Bottom end of the range, right? Notice you had the huge run up, the pullback here, and all these tails right here. This is what we call like an institutional fingerprint, where the market went down here. Right? It went down. Somebody bought all this shit up and took it back up. And then they brought it down again. Somebody said, hey, get your ass out of there. And then they did it again. Get your ass out of there. And they did it again. Get your ass out of there. So we like to call these like institutional fingerprints. This is literally, I mean, it's probably CZ himself. But this is the smart money just stopping the bear and stepping in and putting a floor in. So what a surprise. And anybody can do this, right? You hear me say, look left, all that kind of stuff. It's the same logic. you can see, right? Slamming down. Where's the selling going to stop? Ah, boom. Ran into the level where they said that it should stop, and bang, stopped on a dime. All right, here we go again, and bang, stopped on a dime. So clearly this is the bottom of an end of the range of a market. And I'll tell you, if we lose this level going forward, oh, Jesus. And the worst part about this is I've seen this happen so many times with these darn altcoins. The rule is, value high itself should be support. And you can see we came down into value high before and rejected and headed back up. If we actually accept into value here, and the rule is like 2 consecutive bars, into value, well, 80% of the time we're going to have to bang down against basically the bottom of value, which in this case is the POC. That's all the way back down here. That's sort of probably your Solana goes back down to that like $20, and it's just a real bear market. Well, can you sit and be patient, Nick, for, where are we? We're February now. So can you sit and be patient for the next 10 months?
Oh, yeah.
Just wait for that, because I think that's what's coming, but I don't think it comes now. I think you have to wait until the fall. My hunch is, same sort of thing I told you about the other markets. I wouldn't be surprised. You can see we've come off quite a bit. Could we counter trend rally, maybe run into resistance right there? That makes sense. There's that key high. There's all these key lows, and that's that key high. That looks like a pretty darn important pivot line, eh? And the trend lines already ahead of time are telling you, hey, there's something important about this level right up here. So can you wait for the market to have its counter trend rally, and then, and maybe this takes all the way into the spring and summer, and then we dump into the fall down into those levels. I mean, maybe you don't even want this, but on that dump down the road into the fall, that's when I would expect that Solana event. And probably also, too, on something like this, and, who knows? I mean, maybe CZ pulls one out of his butt, and this thing forges to new highs. Who knows? But the rule usually is when it comes to things like consolidations like this, because I think you guys start from sort of the initial pullback, that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to draw like a 50% level. And the apex of the triangle should be at the 50% roll if it's just a symmetrical triangle. So that would be there. And actually, we could do this spiral. I haven't done one of these studies in forever. And of course, there's a whole bunch of math involved that I'm not going to get into tonight to do all this. But just sort of eyeballing this just for fun. Of course, you got to find the tool. I don't know where the tool is. Here it is. You do go like that, and then you go like that, and something like that, and that actually gives you, and this is just like I said, I'm just eyeballing this roughly, something like that. Boom, 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 boom. So that should be 2/3. The apex should be right around there. So something like that, right? You can even see that we've come down into here. We should rally back up against here, then pull back, and about 2/3 the apex of this triangle. You should see some resolution either up or down. My hunch is down, but this damn thing could do any old thing it wants. So I would say, it's interesting. We worked our way quite a bit through this spiral. If we rally back up to this level, then back down against the spiral, the triangle low, and then get ready for the fireworks. 2/3. If this is drawn correctly, and I'm not even sure if it is or not, but. Just very quickly, boo to boo, 532 bars. So 2/3 of 532. Derek, quickly. 2/3 of 532 is? Just being stupid. You got it, Andy? Let's see, I'll race you. 532 times 0.66 is 351. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Where's that? 351? Is that what I said? Something like that, right? Somewhere in there. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. There's 2/3 the apex. So My hunch is expect something to happen here somewhere around the middle of April. So anyway, we'll keep it on. This will be a fun. Man, I sure hacked up that image, eh? But we'll see what happens. There's your chart. From a guy who didn't want to do a chart of Binance Coin, there you go. Merry Christmas. And of course, that and 50 cents will buy a cup of coffee. That's what my parents used to say. I don't think you could possibly get a cup of coffee for 50 cents anymore. So it just goes to show all my cliches are all outdated now.
Add a zero.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
It's 500 cents now.
You know what kills you is, did you see that M2 money supply chart that I put out?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in essence, all of these baby boomers are guaranteed all these government programs, and really all they're doing is they're just printing money to fund these things. It's not like it's coming out of taxpayers' money or whatever. They're just literally turning the printing press, going, "Oh yeah, we guaranteed you $1,000 a month income. Here you go. There's $1,000 right out of thin air. Merry Christmas." And it's
not worth 100.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that they're not expecting, and you know, this is what really pisses you off, because this system is designed to inflict as much pain on as many people as much of the time as possible. That's what the system is designed to do. And in essence, now you've got all these baby boomers that are all expecting, like in Canada, we have old age security checks. We have government pension plans. All of these people are expecting to retire based on the sort of money system from, the 1990s, where, like I was telling people, I used to go and get a Subway sandwich for $2.75 back in the 1990s every single day for lunch. That's what I just did religiously. And now if you go to Subway and try to get the exact same sandwich, it's embarrassing. It's like literally $8 or $9. It's an absolute joke. So it's really quite sad. So all these pensioners that thought, hey, we're going to retire on a nice pension, government guaranteed. Literally, they can't even buy cat food now with that pension money. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right. Shall we try and do ADA?
Yeah, speaking of inflicting mass pain.
That is a funny one, eh? I think I told you about my Swiss buddy who was mining ADA the whole damn cycle, eh? Sure hope he took some profits. Where should we look at this thing?
Looks like we looked... Wow, we looked at it versus Bitcoin. Let's not do that again. I would just say any.
Why?
Maybe
what did it do? Is it a train wreck?
No, I mean it's just I don't know how many people trade against Bitcoin anymore.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. Bitcoin's gotten so expensive. I don't think actually most of the public even participates in Bitcoin anymore.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good point. Well, what do you think, Derek? What should we look at?
Let's go. Let's go Binance. I mean,
Binance?
not the futures one, but the
do we want to do like versus tethers?
I just remember that's where I would think it maybe had the longest history. Tether, yeah, Tether.
Oh. See, unfortunately, all of these places, they don't even have, like, this is when I first got involved in ADA over here, right? And that doesn't even exist.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking Binance may have the oldest one or the most history.
The funny thing is last cycle Binance was was sort of the new kid on the block. And people actually like trading on tracks. Bite your tongue, Brian.
I was going to say, if you actually take off the T on that, there was one, and obviously this isn't going to be a tradable pair, but I was going to say to go back to Binance. But if you scroll down, just ADA USD.
Yeah, you can probably see this on tracks.
Never mind. It's towards the top.
Poloniex, that would have a really long history.
Okay, I mean, we can go there too.
These Kraken probably has a really, really long history too. Let's see what Kraken is. Yeah, there you go. Release the Kraken. So interesting. Even actually, this is a really, really good example of what I was just talking about there a few minutes ago. Do you see what's happening here, Derek?
Yeah, it's coming down and trying to test the top of value.
Oh, you motherfucking good trader, dude. Nice talk. Excellent. Like I got these guys trained so well. Like I sit and listen to Casper in our day trading room talk, and it's like, oh fuck. You don't want to get too excited, but because like there's no better feeling. Like I used to teach tennis to people all over the Lower Mainland, and when you see somebody that you have instructed from basically the day they picked up the tennis racket to them going out and like winning a tennis tournament, I tell you, as a coach and as a sort of instructor, there's no better feeling. You're just like, wow, it's so cool. So listening to the boys here mature as traders and listening to them trader talk, and our day trader community, listening and watching them evolve, and of course the rest of our site members. Man, it's such a cool feeling. There is one bar here though that scares the hell out of me on this damn thing. You guys see how there's this big old now keep in mind this is like the manufactured thing is. Mind you, maybe this is actually versus dollar. This might actually be real.
So to be clear though, Kraken does this a lot.
Yeah,
I don't trust Kraken at all.
Yeah, well, it's probably because there was somebody who actually did some serious selling, and they, people move a lot of shit.
Yeah, maybe Kraken's the only person that shows it.
This tail has got to be very bothersome to any bull. Because what's so funny is I don't know whether do you guys remember BTCE?
Vaguely.
Doesn't ring a bell?
The exchange?
Yeah.
Exchange called BTCE, right?
I think it was in Slovenia.
Yeah, I never used it, but yeah, I remember that.
That was before my time.
And I don't know, and they actually conjectured that the guys who pulled off the Mt. Gox heist actually liquidated their coins through BTCE. But it's interesting how you don't even see any reference to BTCE on here, or all the various crypto exchanges that have blown up, and there have been a lot of them, folks. be aware. And actually, it's a bit mysterious, to be perfectly honest with you, that we haven't had one of these exchanges blow up in a very long time. That in itself is very suspicious. But anyway, hopefully we're beyond those days of centralized exchanges blowing up. Maybe that's a thing of the past. Hopefully it is. Knock on wood. Anyway, if you look at BTC, I remember specifically watching the Bitcoin price back over here. And one of these days, I think it was like one of might have been, well, I think it was one of these days in here. The Bitcoin price actually went all the way down to $100. And on BTCE, right, there was a tail all the way down to $100. And actually it was interesting. I think Andrew and Shane, my cohorts here, although I haven't seen Shane in forever, kind of miss him. They actually had some stink bids working on. I can't remember what exchange it is they had orders working on, but they got some really, really cheap Bitcoins because there was one of those insane tails. And the interesting thing, right, is the tail, and you don't even see it because the exchange is gone now, but it went all the way down to $100, and then eventually, right, the Bitcoin price had to work its way all the way right back down. You see, we made a low of like 140 and change here. So that big tail, eventually the market had to go and basically eat most of that tail. And that happens a lot in crypto. The little piece of shit coin that I love following, and it keeps breaking my heart year after year after year. Just kidding. These guys, look at this crazy ass tail, right? And the market had to finally come down and eat the damn tail. And even this thing, look at the money flowing out of this thing. It's just painful. I wouldn't be surprised if Trex delists this thing pretty soon. But anyway, that's here nor there. Point here is, look at that ugly tail eating. Nom, 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 nom. So, What the hell was it that we were looking at? ADA, right? And I just saw that. And where was that? Where
You were just on Kraken, but I don't know if you
Kraken,
wanted
there,
to
release the
change.
Kraken. So when I see that tail, oh boy, that scares the hell out of me. And it's fascinating because Derek basically, as soon as I pulled this chart up, Derek read my mind. This looks like the market had a hell of a fight at the top of value. So even back here, right? Probably the top of, yeah, there's the top of value. You can see the market stabbed into the top of value, but went, no, I'm not ready. And then came back down. No, I'm not ready. No, I don't want to go back into value. So the fact that we've come down into here, same sort of thing, banging into value. No, I'm not. Oh, actually, fuck you. Yeah, I guess. No, no, I'm not ready. No, fuck you. You are. That does not look good. And if anything, what sucks is this looks like a ABCD, doesn't it? Oh God! Right? If I was one of those future traders guys, Deuteronomy duders. There you go, boobity boo, and boobity shmoo. Oh. And maybe we'll go down to like say a 4-hour chart or something. Don't need that. Excuse me. Boobity boom. Boobity shmoo. And boobity boo. There we go. Ugh. So you can see this trade setting itself up here. I don't know. Have we actually have we heard any sort of ADA rhetoric? What's the sort of story?
I mean, so when they peaked back in like that August, September-ish time frame, that was kind of when smart contracts were going live. It was a huge kind of sell the news event. And it's just been the only things I've heard is that whenever things are up and running, it's either block times are just taking so long or there's so little amount of transactions that even fit in a block. And so I've heard a lot of negative stuff. And I'm somebody who's never been a huge fan of the Cardano hype just because they haven't had working protocols on it. It's kind of like the Solana thing. There's a ton of hype. There's not a lot of production out of it. I do think Charles Hoskinson is a really, really bright dude. So I'm not saying Cardano won't be amazing a few years from now. It's just, it doesn't seem like ready for prime time.
Huh. He's the guy who got all upset at the at YouTube there recently, wasn't he? What was he upset about? I can't remember.
No,
what
he was
legislation.
Yeah.
Potential
the legislation.
slipping through extra. You know how they do. They slip through stuff, and this new bill they're trying to pass. They got a bunch of stuff related to sort of negative, which could be a negative impact on crypto. So he was kind of going off about that.
So fascinating how off the higher time frames when we looked at this, it was accepting back into value, and it was kind of suggesting that if we had to go all the way down, we could really see a big wipeout. Here's another application of the volume profile. Here, we basically just pulled up the range over the past 6 to 8 months. What is this? No, actually, this is over the past year. I guess a few months. Let's say. And if anything, the more that I zoom out this, the more I see this. So you can clearly see where the POC is, and we all know that the profile wants to look like a parabola. And interesting enough, I think you can make the argument that this part of the parabola is pretty full. This part of the parabola is empty. So it's almost like the profile is kind of saying, hey, I kind of want to fill all this in. And the irony of it all is that if we go back to that higher time frame chart, accepting back into value kind of thing, notice how that bearish bot and its price objective, it's basically just going to fill that whole part of the profile in there, right? I don't know. That's pretty cool if you ask me. And of course, that takes us down and we eat a good chunk of that tail. So that's a little bit concerning if I was a bull. I mean, frankly speaking, I'm kind of indifferent about all this, and I wouldn't be surprised by the middle of the year that most of this market is completely washed out, and then they're setting up for the next run. Interesting too, look how 88.6 of this entire range lines up with that bot objective. So actually I really like that as a level. That makes sense to me. There you go, folks. And of course, unfortunately, not getting any really help out of volume here. Had a little bit of a perk up, but then you can see the bears woke up and took over here. So bulls have been sort of, put on the back burner. Just follow the indicator too. If this thing can start Wing out, maybe we got a shot. But it's got to break this pattern. And like I said, the way I'm looking at this, because I really don't like the price action on Bitcoin here. It looked like it was Bitcoin was putting in an inverted empire. And so as a result, if this empire fires, I think the whole damn market's going to go for another leg lower. So, let's see if I can zoom in and show you that. Yeah, there's the empire there. Boom, boom, boom. So look how close we are to this firing, eh? Oh, boy. So if this goes through, what's that low there? 36,618. Right now we're at 36,8. So if we lose like $200, $250, and we're down here, that's a huge sell signal. So I could see that if that happens, the whole damn market starts cascading lower again. And then this thing sort of comes alive and does its thing. So we will add that. No real, if anything, what we'd like to see. We do have, not enough to call anybody really. If anything, I don't like how we went up on green bar here, then down, then up a little bit higher, and then the bulls just disappeared. So that M there in the green bars has fired, and that's probably why the OBV looks the way that it does with the moving average. So we really don't want to see the bear really come alive too aggressively here. And if you're going to short this, I actually do like the idea. We have a rule that we want to kind of you want to short on M's below uptrend lines, and you want to buy on W's above downtrend lines. So there's your uptrend line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks pretty legit. Ooh, tag from the other side too. Uh-oh. We're starting to make M's below the trend line. That's not a good sign, folks. And, really, I would say the coup de grace. There's the bot short entry. Hopefully you can see. If this turns into one big honking M, then we're toast. Right? So, really, and what would set this trade up really well is if if you're so short inclined, is if this thing could come along here and just put in like a really nice tight M in here, that would be awesome. Because then actually you'd have a start of a new downtrend line there. So keep your eyes peeled for that, folks. I would like to think that this holds. No guarantees from the management, of course, and no buy signals anywhere in sight. So we'll just have to see what the gods have in store for us. If this is still a bull, we'll break this. We'll turn back up and start closing back above the $1.16, $1.17 area, and then you can go, whew, dodged a bullet there. But for the time being, this is looking a little precarious here, folks. It'd be interesting to see. If we come back in a few weeks, does this play out, and did we tank down into here? I'm gonna be really curious to see if that plays out.
This was a major journal entry for me back in September, though, because I remember everyone was talking about how Cardano was going to whatever, $10 or, and when the smart contracts are going live, and it just, I didn't play. I've never owned Cardano, but I journal it away because it was just one of those perfect sell the news events, and I like to get caught up in the hype sometimes, so I need to journal those out because that kind of keeps me a little grounded. That when it's that huge green run up in August to September, That was all
Oh my
because they
God.
were going live right at the top there, pretty much with smart contracts.
You know, your tell, you should have been to these people. You should have been, okay, if this is so great, where the hell are the buyers? I mean, the buyers are just nowhere near in comparison. So that was really, I think, your huge tell, was that this ramp up here was on almost nothing. Very suspicious. But actually, I'd be curious, like volume impetus. Can you see how we were making higher highs here? Even up top here, and obviously it's the hindsight. But notice, like, the buyers, where did they go? They just totally disappeared. And actually, you're doing the harmonics manual or module, and we did pro stop management last week. And remember our top from 2014, was it? 2015? In that, the harmonics, I mean, it was the most beautiful bearish bat, I think it was. Actually, it wouldn't be off this. It would be off of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
I just see the same thing here, right? Do you remember that the lecture on the bearish harmonic and how I use the volume impetus is actually the divergence signal in that?
I hope so. I watched it like 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago. So
Does that sound at all familiar?
yeah, no, it does.
Okay. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Quickly show you guys what I'm talking about here. Not that cycle. This cycle. So many cycles. So this was a really cool. This is the harmonic example that I use in the course. Where we went, I think we went boom to boom to boom to boom to boom. And the key that this was a bullshit rally was the volume. Actually, the volume was in divergence the whole way up. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then you notice at the actual, this is what we call a PRZ. Right at this level, beautiful inside bar sell signal there. I mean, the buyers, there just wasn't any buyers here at all. So beautiful divergence. Really good example. Anyway, I don't know whether you remember that or not. I remember that trade specifically. And I remember one guy on the site, he just fucking puked his pants on that event right there. It was so sad. Trying to teach him. But actually, the guy, he and it's so funny how the things that you remember of these bear runs. All I remember, I mean, every day it was really interesting. It was like through here, people just started to assume that, okay, Bitcoin's going to be $600-700. That's just the way it's going to be. Nobody really could envision this happening, which is fascinating. Anyway, so yeah, you can see. This is looking precarious, folks. I do not like the look of this at all. Remember I said market structure below trend lines. Look how steep that trend line is. So now any kind of bearish signal. Oh, that's a 3-bar fractal. So any kind of bearish signal below this trend line, and it's like, oh, fuck me. That's all open air down there. Oh, God. I think I'm definitely going to be doing a -1 vote tonight, at least.
I was gonna say it is closing time. We might want to.
Oh
put
yeah,
those.
look at that! It's 8:00. Well, did you guys enjoy the conversation tonight?
Hey, I don't know about Derek. I'm excited to actually get back through this list and look at them again and see where I can start planning on reloading in another 6 to 18 months.
All right. So was that benefit? Did you enjoy that convo tonight?
Yeah, it was good. I think it was good.
Right.
And I'm with Nick in terms of. I mean, this is my second. Well, I mean, we're not totally in the bear, I don't guess yet, but in terms of cycles, I guess it's my second cycle, so I'm feeling more confident, and I'm looking for opportunities now, right? And I know kind of where to look and that type of thing, so I'm feeling a little bit better about that. So,
right on. The key here with playing this game, I think, is those two words: patience and discipline. And just let the trades set themselves up. You'd be surprised if you just are patient. It's kind of like the corn. I mean, the irony of it all is if you were just patient, didn't get sucked into all the stupid euphoria and negativity and all that bullshit, And you just said, that Beamish guy says reload zones, and maybe I should be hunting like W's. And look at how beautiful that is. And you heard me say, time and time again, that markets love to bottom off 78.6. I mean, if you were just really patient and really disciplined, this thing it was an absolute gift. And looking back in hindsight, if you loaded up on the corn at like $4.5 grand and just held on to it for the next few years, did you do pretty well? I think so. Call me crazy. Good part about it, something like this, is you can actually sell half on a double, right? That would have been like 8,000-9,000, and then you're set. I mean, you got free coins. Then you could even do like a reload, like I told you with Kevin. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same scenario. Just be really patient. I don't know. Do you see any weekly W's there yet? No. When you do, it'll be plain as day, folks. It really will. So just be patient. There's no hurry here. Okay, everybody. I'm going to. We got to do the big contest, right? Who's going to pick the correct direction for next week? So why don't we do that first, and then I'll do a big sign off. So who wants to go first? Nick, where are we going? I just volunteered you. Where are you? You're over here, right?
Yeah, that one's me. I don't know why it doesn't say my name. I'm probably too embarrassed by my previous guesses that.
Do you prefer Nick with a C or Nick with a K?
I do Nick with a C. Nikolai doesn't have a C. My dad wanted to just mess with me as a kid, so they wanted. So my family's Russian. They wanted a Russian name with an American nickname. So I've always been Nick with a CK, which is completely just weird. When my name was,
I've always wanted to ask you that, so my apologies for.
Well, there it is. No, it's good. I've went with anything. I mean, I've responded to much worse things than a misspelled.
I had Toyota the other day calling me Brian with a Y. I almost never get that. I don't know why. It's almost like you have to go out of your way to spell Brian with a Y. I mean, that's not like something that normally comes out. Maybe the Japanese, they use a lot of Y's in their language. I don't know.
I correctly stalled out so I could have more time to think about what I'm going to vote.
Okay. Well, we can come back to you because Nick's a Bala, or no, Derek's a Bala, so we can pop on over to Derek. What do you think, Derek?
I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go with a 1.
A 1. Oh, you're gonna think we're going up?
I think we're gonna go
after Brian was about to puke out and lose his lunch here. I no offense, but if this is me, I gotta stick with the -1. Yeah, and really, it probably is more than that, but I'll be conservative and go with -1.
You gotta keep a little bit of hope in the market, I guess.
All right, you'll be supporting, and
we need people like you, Derek.
Damn straight. All right, and Ben, what are we gonna vote? Ben's gonna vote
a 2.
A 2. All right, so Ben. Wow, you just turned super bullish, Ben. Way to go, buddy. Hope you don't lose your house in Florida. It was awfully nice knowing you.
But I will say, technically,
did he just go along 100x leverage?
He's got a real tight stop.
Okay, I'm sorry, Derek. I cut you off there.
No, I will say that the technicals don't support my feeling at all. But it's just I feel like I need to put a +1.
All right. Now Nick, we've come full circle. What's it gonna be, Chief?
I was trying to decide between a -1 and a -2 myself.
How about a -1.5? Yeah,
I think what I'm imagining is a deeper pullback, kind of maybe off a reload zone from the lows last week. So I think that would put us at maybe 34. So that's a good 8%. I think I got to go -2.
All right. There you go. Made the call.
As chat is saying that I'm calling the bottom. So I'd be happy if I'm calling the bottom, but my -2 is to set up a bottom.
Yeah, you had a -2 here recently. I thought actually you won the contest.
Oh, it won. Yeah, that was a bad one. This is one where I legitimately feel like we could get a higher low here.
Higher low, but you're gonna look for a lower close.
Yeah, I think this will set up the higher low. We're gonna dip down and then we'll turn around.
Okay. I mean,
Probably next
I
week.
think that this bottom's going to be uglier than stink. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, okay. I think we're good to go. And Ben, of course, if you're wrong, you owe us drinks. It'll be interesting if you watch this. Ben did say that he was willing to do some updating and some work on the app. So, cool that we do have now some new charts for people to peruse. We'll work away, I suppose, over the coming weeks trying to fill this out again. Your favorite story? As I always like to check in. What's the favorite story? Brian's like, LOL, you're wrong. Okay, no, I'm not. There's no right or wrong. It's just people's opinion. What's it? You, I know you like Derek. You like that the Theta Network, and what's that other one that you always
H-bar,
talk about?
Adair.
Hadar, right?
Yeah.
Any updates on either of those stories?
So I learned that Hedera is like they're going to open source their code. So that's one of the problems that, in terms of even getting like listed on some places, I guess Coinbase was saying that they wouldn't list certain things because if the code wasn't available to take a look at, I guess. And so Hedera, they for a while they've always been like basically a closed source in terms of their code. It hasn't been available, so that I don't know exactly when, but they've been talking about actually open sourcing the code. So in terms of even like adoption, that type of thing, that could be a little bit could be beneficial.
Cool.
But so that's kind of a little bit of news there.
They have outperformed since they went from 57 when we originally were going through the list. They're 34th now, so they've outperformed relatively.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. I would ask you about Cosmo, but I don't know whether that's your favorite coin these days, is it?
I've got a whole lot of favorite coins. I like Cosmos a lot. Yeah.
All right. Any updates? So like, are they getting sucked into all this Danny and now Solana mess?
No, I think Cosmos is about the most kind of isolated from most other crypto news.
Well, that's good.
They're kind of their own blockchain of blockchains that are just plugging away. I mean, the chart doesn't look fantastic right now, but I mean, I really like the whole Cosmos ecosystem, of which Luna is a part of.
That's cool. Oh,
but
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So is Luna built on the Cosmo network? Is that how it works?
So it is. I don't know if you want to call it the Cosmos network, but they are part of the IBC, which is the what are the interplanetary blockchain? Hold on. IBC Cosmos. Why am I not getting this? Inter-blockchain communication protocol. That's what it is. So they are compatible with the IBC, and so like they can all talk together. Luna can talk to all the other Cosmos kind of blockchains.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So
to me, that
I mean, it's always dangerous to ask. We've got Stuart, of course, on the site. I think he's pretty well tapped into Luna. But have you heard any? Is Luna getting dragged down with Danny's mess here?
I honestly don't think so. I think it's being dragged down a lot because there's a lot of FUD around Anchor Protocol and potentially losing its 18% or 20% yield, whatever it is, 18 to 20. And I think that is honestly a little overblown. I mean, it's only down what? It's barely down 50% from its highs. So like it's just behaving like most other crypto right now. In fact, it's still probably doing better than most. A lot of them are in the reload zone or lower now for alts.
Cool. Okay, that's good. Always. So what I'm hearing is if you're a fan of Cosmos, slow and steady wins a race. And I suppose maybe in the episodes to come we can chart up Hedera and Cosmo. They're both in the top 100, so we'll be coming to them, eh?
Yeah, we'll get to them pretty quick. Cosmos is around 20 right now, and Hedera is around 30.
Right, and long and short of it is both of you still feel pretty positive about the sort of underlying stories.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I will say there's almost no reason to own the Atom token, which is Cosmos. I just really like the ecosystem and the fundamentals around it. But I barely own any Cosmos right now, and it's like a fraction of a percent of my portfolio.
Oh, okay.
I would say, I mean, Atom Cosmos is probably, in my opinion, like one of the more sort of interesting concepts around crypto altogether, as in total, right? Because in my opinion, like all these different blockchains are supposed to be able to talk together, like talk and communicate with one another, and that's what they're providing is that bridge to, I say bridge, but the protocol to be able to do that, right? So it's very intriguing. I think it's a great, fundamentally, it's a great idea.
Cool.
I mean,
all right, and really, at the end of the day, that has to remain. You know, you're gonna get the like last cycle, it was guys like Steven Seagal. Hey, market has to wash clowns like him out of the market. I'm worried about some of these NFT people and celebrities coming in and doing NFT sort of, get rich quick kind of things. But what I want to hear from you guys is you still believe in the underlying blockchain and the underlying technology. Right? That's the key to all this. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the conversation with me. I hope I added some value to your guys' life.
always.
Well, I never know. Write that damn exam and make me proud, Derek.
By next time we
let
talk,
Nick. If Nick beats you to the vet tag, I'm never gonna let you hear the end of that shit.
that's not happening. I slack sometimes, but I don't slack that hard. By next time we talk, I'll have it done.
It does. It's not that hard. It's just you just got to do it, right?
Now it's just a matter of me pushing the button to start it.
There you go. All right, make me proud, dude. Okay, everybody. Sorry I didn't really interact too much with the YouTube audience. I do see there's quite a few people over there, so thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the conversation tonight. Probably going to be trying to bang through these things, see if we can get to the end of the list, and then we'll start interacting with the audience again a bit more. But thank you very much, Derek. Thank you very much, Nick. Ben, all the best. Good luck in what you're doing right now. And I guess the only thing left for us to say, Derek, I don't think you've taken us out in a while. So, the only thing left for TRI's Crypto Top 100 review is, we got to say, is...
Bye for now.